Okay, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and get started since we have a quorum and we can kind of work through, maybe others will show up. So I will call us to order and ask, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting? And are there any changes or motion to approve?
Had a small change. Page 2, item 6, line 3. Mary's name is spelled wrong. B-A-R, Barcheron, it's a B-A-R, small.
Oh, thank you. Oh, gosh. Thank you. There are some of us with E actually.
Okay, anything else? Right, do I hear a motion?
I move. Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. It doesn't look like we have any visitors unless I'm missing someone online. Okay. Go to Councilmember Bliss.
Yeah, I thought I'd give you some updates. Boards and commissions presented last meeting, and it was a great meeting. Thank you, John, for helping with sustainability and presenting what we've been talking about. We are also reviewing the budget and getting ready to start making amendments at the next meeting, which is also May 6th, which is when part 2 will happen, and that's when the business districts will all present. Comprehensive plan is moving through its paces. It's almost finished. Staff has reviewed it and has reviewed the final plans. And so next it will go to the Planning Commission in May or June. So we could be hearing that at council hopefully by the end of the summer. And you all are encouraged to come to the Planning Commission meeting. I don't think those agendas have been defined yet, but just look for the May 2nd meeting or the first one in June. And that's all I have.
Right.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
What is, could you flag, like, is there a couple of key decisions that are gonna be embedded in this document we should be paying attention to?
Well, I mean, they're noting areas for commercial development. Those have been kind of outlined, and those are basically areas that are, underutilized for revenue. Such as parts of the Watson Road corridor, for example. We've talked about conservation planning and doing some noting some conservation in different areas. And it's going to, I would say it's made to be a 10 to 20 year plan. And as long as council adopts it, then we can start taking action for the land use that's outlined there.
Is this the outfit from the East Coast or something that came in that where we had
It's called the Lakota Group, and they're
Yeah.
from Chicago.
Chicago?
Yeah.
And what's the next meeting coming down the pike? You said May 2nd?
Plan Commission, which I think it's the first Monday of the month. I think it's May 2nd. So that'll be a public hearing. It may be then, or it may be in June. It has not been absolutely decided.
And if the public hearing happens, then it'd be presenting this plan.
Yes,
And that would be 6:00?
7.
So the first Monday in there?
It's typically the first Monday of the month. Yeah. Yeah.
It's May 5th.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're gonna be going through the commission leadership now, and Jeff's gonna lead it. I just wanted to say, anyone is welcome to nominate another from our group, as well as nominate themselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go through. Actually, I was gonna wait. I was gonna hope maybe Sean would go, and if Tim, I don't know, he hasn't indicated that he wouldn't be here, but in case he does, I'd like to have him get a say. So Sean, do you want to go ahead with the staff liaison update?
Sure. I'm going to show you guys the website. It is live now. And there's going to be a special Earth Day social media post that goes out tomorrow and plugs the website. So I'll show that to you in a minute. But before I do, I know there's a lot of interest in this commission regarding green building practices or energy efficiency in the building code. And in case you're not aware, Missouri House Bill 939 moves to the Senate this week. And I just printed off a few overviews of the bill, and whoever I can email you guys information if you're interested. But basically this bill prohibits any municipality or county from enacting or maintaining any ordinance, regulation, or other policy that requires an owner, a builder, a developer to implement any kind of green building design or construction practices. And this is for residential, but it started as residential, including 1 and 2 family dwellings and condominiums and multi-unit townhouses. It's been amended to also include commercial and industrial buildings. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of this. If it's up to you if you'd like to reach out to, our representatives, but this would certainly prohibit Webster Groves from trying to enact or amend our codes to implement energy efficiency in our building code. So just wanted to make you aware of that. There you go, Kim, you can have that one. And then
So it already went through the legislature, like
the House,
through
yes,
the House.
yes. So it moves to the Senate this week.
Question, who created the fact sheet?
Oh, I'm sorry. Great question. Emily Andrews of the Missouri Green Buildings Council. She sent this email out today. I'm on her distribution list. Some of you might also be, so.
Yeah, I know. She's.
I just saw it this afternoon. I was like, oh, perfect timing, because I think this group would be interested to know. Very timely information. What's that?
Cannot make an ordinance.
Yeah, it's another preemptive strike.
Yes.
This commission has taken up plastic bags in the past, and the legislature passed a bill that prohibits municipalities from banning plastic bags that they have in other states. So it's there's across the country there have been municipalities that have banned natural gas for new construction, require electric space heating and electric appliances, and Missouri has preemptively said to cities, you can't do that. So looks like kind of the next in the iteration of preemptive legislation.
But yet, if you went a couple miles east, it would be illegal to have codes as bad as we do in Missouri that are required under this law. So you go to Illinois or any other state that's got common sense, codes are the really low hanging fruit for impact per dollar spent. Sometimes I wonder why I moved.
Sharon, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, Sean, I just wanted to ask you if you would send me a copy of that, please.
Absolutely. Okay. And then, let me show you guys the website. Here we go. Karen, can you see this okay?
Yes, I can.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so from the main landing page for the city of Webster Groves, if you go to departments, well. Okay, so on the front page, we've got just a little explanation of how this is laid out and that it's organized by the 4 focus areas in the Forever Webster Grove Sustainability Plan. And then I've got the plan linked here, and then the commission's beautiful map created by Anna is right beneath that. And so over on the left side, the first focus area is the built environment. We talk about the residential solar rebates. There's the link that's also over here, but would take you to more information just on the solar rebates. We've got information on emissions, specifically, obviously, our greenhouse gas inventory. Moving down to waste minimization, a link to the residential single stream curbside program, and then also our Ripple glass bin. Talk about some of the various annual recycling events we have. So basically, the top of these pages are organized with city programs and or collaborations that I've highlighted, and then the second half is community resources. So here I've linked efficient energy resources to Ameren, Rewiring America, Dark Sky, and then food waste reduction I put in here. So also links to the various small businesses in town that do residential composting. St. Louis Recycle Coach is a great app if you guys are unaware, but it answers questions on what's recyclable. And if not in your curbside bin, then where you can take it to recycle. And then also hazardous waste drop. So that's the built energy section. Okay, I will admit, Tiara and I are trying to figure out this link situation. We do have a little glitch we're still trying to figure out. So I'm just gonna hit the back button. But then, and I don't want to take up too much time of our agenda, but natural environments, plugging NOMO, Leave the Leaves, Green Our City programs. These are more so related to the Green Space Advisory Commission, and then native landscaping resources, also stormwater management. And so there's two different cost share programs available in Webster Groves. If not all of Webster Groves is eligible for the Deer Creek grants, but if you are not eligible for Deer Creek, you are eligible for the MSD. And this is funding opportunities to install rainscaping features at home. And then also who to call if you have a wild animal that you need to take care of. That's not necessarily just a traditional pest control, but a wildlife rehabber. Transportation and mobility. I plugged our public EV charging. Showed our police department EV. Highlighted the Deer Creek Greenway. And then here are two sites to find EV charging stations, as well as public transit routes and schedules, and then all of the greenways in our area. So just some more community resources. And then for community engagements, this is where our green dining micro grants are housed. The application link is here. I talked a little bit about our regional campaign yard sign initiative. The Eco Education Lecture Series is plugged here. Not specific dates, but we can work on building that out. And then community resources such as the St. Louis Green Business Challenge and the Earthway Center and Seed St. Louis. So it's not perfect. And I also will admit that until it was live Friday evening, I couldn't see the mobile version, and the mobile version's a little wonky. So I need to play with this, but this was my first time creating a website, so
Great.
I've learned a lot.
Thank you.
And
Very thorough.
thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
So,
I want to be conscious of the various community organizations that are promoted on here, and so I need to be careful that we're not just promoting, or they should have either a service or I don't want to be promoting just necessarily advocacy groups, because I think that can get into gray areas. So I'm trying to just keep it as helpful with resources for the community as possible. But if you see anything or have any updates or suggestions, feel free to send them my way. Okay, and then I will stop sharing. So Karen, you can see this, and that's all that I have for updates today.
all right. Okay, as Councilmember Bliss mentioned, we're gonna choose a new chair. After 8 great years, I get to term out and be gone. So Anyway, first I want to say just how floored I am by how great this commission has been and people's willingness to step up when called to volunteer and put their time in, lend their expertise. There's so much expertise on sustainability in Webster, it kind of blows my mind. I'm also very thankful to the mayor, the council, the city administration, because this commission has a lot more opportunity to do things than it did when I joined. Not to go into too much detail, but it was sort of like they wanted to keep us in our box and but this commission, I mean, this council and mayor administration really wants our input and wants feedback, and has really made sustainability a priority. So that was really cool to see. Okay, so I want to add a little context, and some of it's going to be repeating what Councilmember Bliss said, and that is we've had a lot of chairs since I've been on here. And the way it always happens is someone abruptly resigns and it's like, oh crud, we spent 2 months drawing straws to figure out who's going to step up. This is the only time since I've been on here that I think we've had more than one person express interest in being chair. Maybe there's something to be said for that too, that there's people that active engaged. Normally I let stuff flow pretty freely around the table, but so here's how I would like to do this. I would like to, in a moment, open the floor for nominations. Once nominations are on the floor, we'll have a discussion and then we'll have a vote, and that'll be that. Any questions so far? Yes, Mary.
How long is the term of this?
So good point. And this goes down to what's in the board and commission handbook, which calls for terms to last 12 months. And that was called to my attention. We've never gone year to year, but I think it's a good idea. And so I'd like the motion on a nomination to reflect a 1-year term. I think it's healthy.
One thing, Jeff, is that we will do the chair first
Correct.
and then do vice chair.
Correct.
Yeah.
In fact, whoever's elected probably ought to run the meeting after that, but I'm happy to do that.
Is another question?
Sure.
Isn't the third role secretary? And do you vote on the secretary every year too?
We don't vote on the secretary. Someone has always stepped up and been willing to take notes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is it called out specifically in the handbook terms for all three, or is it just the chair that's got the terms? Probably should have.
I think it's leadership. I could look it up, but I think it's leadership.
What was your question?
So Jeff mentioned that the chair has a term called out in the handbook. My question was essentially, does the secretary and the vice chair, do those also have established terms that we should honor?
The handbook only discusses leadership as the chair and vice chair. They're the only ones kind of named in that.
Right.
Paragraph.
Right. So
When you say you have termed out, what does that mean?
you're allowed to serve, I think it's 3 terms or two
Terms.
but I had a partial term. So I've served a partial term and 2 full terms. And so once that last 3-year term is up, I'm termed out.
Partial terms can happen because a member of the commission might resign from the commission before their term ends, and
Yeah.
so then a new member.
Well, it's not an assassination.
Hopefully. So then a new member is implemented, but they are first filling the remainder of the previous commission member's term.
So that
And then-
doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
so then they can have another.
It's
term.
a 3-year term.
correct.
And if there's not a line for filling vacancies, there's often an opportunity to stay an extended period of time if you're still interested in serving.
Very-
And Jeff was you were describing, correct, your term on the board, not your term time as president or chair, which has been, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's the board term is
3 years.
2, 3 years plus if you're appointed for a partial term.
Oh, I'm confused now. I had initially written down the chair is a 1-year term.
You're right. it
Okay.
is.
Correct. Sorry to muddy the waters. With that being said, do I hear any nominations for chair?
I would like to nominate, if she will accept, Karen Anderson.
Karen, do you accept the nomination?
I do, thank you.
Okay, do I hear any other nominations? John,
I'd like to nominate myself. I've served as a vice chair for several years. And past practice on this commission is the vice chair ascends to the chair. And I think there's,
yeah, yeah, as I explained, in the past, the vice chair has taken over because it's been uncontested. The vice chair has assumed the responsibility, but there's nothing, as Pam said, there's nothing in the rules that state. So just to make everyone very clear on that. Okay, any other nominations before I close the floor for nominations? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear any discussion? Mary.
What are the responsibilities, especially for new people?
Good question. Truthfully, the chair runs the meeting and works with Sean to help set the agenda for the next meeting. And generally, if there is any communication with council, it's usually done through the chair. That said, there are no special powers to be chair. Any member can ask that items be put on the agenda and discussed. Any member of council any member can reach out to a member of council and talk to them. And it's literally running meetings, mostly sort of administrative.
Land all the glory.
Right, there's no executive power for executive orders.
Not the
I'm watching.
executive
John.
one thing I hope this commission will consider is that while there's nothing in the rules that says that the vice chair ascends, given that there are term limits on the board, the notion is you have somebody queued up who's able to step into that role of leadership, and that so for example, in this scenario, recognizing that since terms are 3 years, I've been on the board for about 3 years. I could serve another 3 years, but then I'd be off. Were I to, in that period of time, serve as chair, and were someone else to serve as co-chair, we would have continuity of institutional memory and continuation of knowledge. So I think that would be the case I would make for being selected as chair. And I feel like the work I've done on the commission has been a diligent member of the commission, and feel like I could continue that level of work moving forward.
Any other members have points to raise, discussion? Karen, have your hand raised.
Yeah, I do. So, John, I came onto the commission just about the same time that you did. So we have that even experience there, but I don't really want to give a speech. I have been actively engaged since I started on the commission.
Any other?
Since I nominated Karen, I thought maybe I can share why, some of the reasons. I feel like Karen's really great about bringing up new initiatives and ideas through, I think it's been maybe 2 years that Karen's been on the commission, and I feel like every few months, like she comes up with a new idea, and then not just that, she creates like a working group and then follows through, has meetings, and then like sees it through to the end. And she's done that many times, and then also took on the eco ed and has asked for support on it, and a lot of times had to do it on her own, just like see it through. So I just really like, I think that shows a lot of leadership and collaboration. And I just feel like Karen is just a great leader and would be good about seeing different projects through to the end. So I should have prepared something, but I feel like that.
Karen, is your hand raised still, or is that from last time? Okay,
Whoever's monitoring.
Okay.
Excellent.
So
Tim.
I have a question,
sure,
being the newbie.
right.
So, you say the chair doesn't really have powers of authority. I guess, when someone comes up with an idea,
Right.
so, I have a lot of experience of how that gets tossed around, say, I think this is an important issue and I think we should have an initiative on this.
Right.
Does the chairman have the power to say, no, that's not important enough, or?
No, any member can request something be put on the agenda. And I'll give a good example that Anna and Karen and I believe, I don't know if Sean, saw the opportunity to apply for composting grant through USDA. And that was pursued. I mean, the chair is not here to shut ideas down that they don't like. It's just to run the meeting, make sure everyone's heard.
Okay.
So that's,
Follow-up to that is, so when someone has an idea, how does it get implemented?
the easiest way
If
is
it's not the chair.
to reach out to the chair and say, could you put this on the agenda for the next meeting? I'd like to discuss responsible lighting
Mhm.
ordinance, or I'd like to discuss recommending to council that we update the city building code. And then from there, we'll discuss it in this meeting. Perhaps a lot of times we form subcommittees so that we can have a little more thorough discussion than we can do in the constrained time we have. And then we'll flesh something out and bring it back, a little more thorough recommendation, then we vote. And that would go to the city council if that requires council approval.
Okay.
Mary,
That reminds me, isn't one of the responsibilities interfacing more with the council on behalf of our commission? As the
well,
chair?
there is the annual appearance that we make to discuss goals each spring. There can be sort of on an ad hoc basis. There might be a reason to go to council to advocate for something when the last example I remember of that was the proposed redevelopment. This commission was very involved in, and we went to the council and made a recommendation. That can also be done. We can do it by letter. We can write a letter to council and recommend something, or if it rises to it, we can attend the meeting and go up to the podium and say, we recommend you do this. John.
And I think another example, Tim, is the electric vehicle car show was an idea I had because I felt like it'd be of interest to the community. Then the role of so I threw it out to this body, and this body said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Then I went ahead and recruited the electric vehicle people. Sean helped run the traps on getting access to the parking lot on the Saturday and helping get the Webster Police being supportive in the ways they can be supportive, and like access to a bathroom on the day of. So it's kind of like up to each of us as commissioners. We've got something we're going to run with to bring it up here in this
Right.
body. If we get the green light, then
Yeah, so it's not like if you came to me with an idea as chair and I don't like that idea, I'm gonna throw it in the wastebasket and not put it on the agenda. That's just not how we operate. So
Okay.
any member can has the same power to sort of ask for something to be put on the agenda and toss that idea out to other members.
And perhaps I might add, it's not necessarily a power, but that when there are requests for spending funds in the commission's budget, I typically will ask, if the question comes to me and the chair is not included, I'll ask that the chair be included and officially approve it. So that's just one extra piece of communication that the chair is tied into.
So the chair would have to officially approve spending. Is that true?
It's not in the handbook.
It's
No, it's
basically the commission pretty much decides
Typically,
everything
yeah.
together.
Yeah, right, we would,
And then-
I'm not gonna say, hey, let's give, let's spend $500 doing this or $1,000 doing that. I would,
Right.
It's
If
easier.
if it's saying, okay, let's go ahead and do an honorarium for a speaker, it's $30 or something like that. But any large decision, I think should be made by this board.
Yeah.
It's just easier for the staff liaison sometimes to have as the bulk of messaging from the commission coming through the chair. I mean, of
Person.
course, I'm always willing to help and communicate with everybody individually, but it can be helpful on the staff time if, messaging and communications is
Sure,
funny
you
through
have
the
a
chair.
person.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
I guess I'll just add, I don't think, we're in the fortunate position, I don't think we can make a wrong choice, but,
I would agree.
I do think that, I like the idea of a little more intentionality in I guess I'll call it succession planning or adhering to we should probably pay attention to the rules in the handbook, probably more for the rest of us going forward, but. Anyway,
Yeah.
however we vote, I think that's nothing but good choices.
Yeah, and for the record, I mean, one thing I wanted to do, I could have just presided over this meeting, left it to you all, and they had to figure it out. But I left, because I've been through that a lot of times, and usually we stumble around for 2 months before we pick a leader, and then what are we gonna do? It just wastes months at a time. So I really wanted somebody to be able to hit the ground running next month. Mary,
Thank you.
anything else? Anyone?
Clarifying question.
Sure.
So there's the chair and there's the vice chair. This current nomination process is for the chair, right? So how does that work for the vice?
After we get done with chair, then we'll do the same thing for vice chair.
Okay. So it's not like integrated, it's separate. Okay.
Right. And the vice chair, honestly, there are times when the chair has to be gone and the vice chair has to run the meeting, or the last 2 years I've been gone, John's had to go make the presentation to city council. So it's good to have somebody that I can just say, hey, you're on. Or the same thing for whoever succeeds me, to be able to have somebody to just lean on. All right, anything else? All right. I'm gonna go in order it was nominations. I'll just do this by raising hands, if that's okay with. All right, all in favor, and to be clear, because I wanted someone to be in place next month, but I really think you all who are going forward on this commission ought to be the ones to choose it. I'm only gonna vote if there's a tie, just to keep some continuity. So, all those in favor of Karen being chair, please raise your hand. Karen, I'm assuming your hand's raised. Okay, all those in favor of John being chair, please raise your hand. Okay, we do have a tie. All right. Well, as Matt said, I don't think there can be there's not a wrong choice here. I will cast my vote for John just because he did step up as vice chair, and he's both members of this commission have shown initiative and done everything that's asked of them. So that, John, congratulations.
Thank you.
Clap.
Blended
Would you like
campaign.
to change places and run the vice chair?
I think you should do that, Jeff.
Okay, I'm happy.
My first decision is you finish this meeting.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm gonna follow the same process for vice chair and open the floor to nominations.
I'll go ahead and nominate Karen,
Karen,
assuming she's willing to accept that.
do you accept the nomination?
I do not.
Okay. Do I hear any other nominations?
Could I nominate Anna?
You may. Do you accept?
Oh my goodness, I hadn't considered it.
That was my answer a few years ago. There's no here, no, kidding.
I need time to think about it, but I know we don't have time. Thank you so much for the nomination. I really appreciate it. Can I still be secretary
You may.
at the same time?
I don't know if there's any prohibition to that. If you have to run a meeting, you may have to designate.
This is true.
If that's stopping you, I would take notes.
I guess I've been here the longest, other than you, Rhonda, for being vice chair. Okay, I accept.
All right, here, any other nominations before we vote? Seeing none, any discussion? Okay. All in favor of Anna being vice chair, please raise your hand. All right, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm sure my hesitation really gets a winning.
Take it seriously.
Okay, we'll move on to old business and the EV event on Saturday, 4/19.
My thought is we just pick a new date and we keep on soldiering on. And I saw 2 date, thinking of 2 dates, I'm thinking that Saturday's the day, because then we get the parking lot. May 31 or June 21 were 2 dates that I didn't see any conflicts on where I could be there.
May 31 and June 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not set on those two, but if one of those 2 dates works for this committee, then
Perhaps we could prioritize those dates and then I can check availability on both of them with the Masons. But knowing which one is your preferred date, I think is important.
Which is Memorial Day weekend.
24th.
24th.
Okay, either one. Okay.
is there anything you see on the city calendar, Pam? that-
I don't have it handy, so I don't know.
If you run into challenges getting folks, I have 2 other people that I had mentioned it to who said that they would be interested in bringing their vehicles. So if you
Oh,
run into
nice.
not everybody can do it. I have some additional folks who might be able to.
No, that's super, that's great.
I would just mention one thing, for a parking lot event, something you're having on a blacktop.
Yeah.
June 31st is gonna be boiling hot.
June sounds awesome.
I don't know, I'm not saying that's gonna stop people from
May
coming, but
31st or June
you know, I'm thinking May is maybe better just only for that reason, if everything else is equal.
Makes sense to me.
There doesn't appear to be anything on the calendar yet for either one of those. So.
Yeah, because then I was looking at 24, 25 of May is Memorial Day weekend, so that didn't work. I got a kid graduating college, the 11th and 12th weekend, or 10 and 11. I'll show for
What
that.
is Barton here?
June
First, the second weekend in June.
Oh, so that's not a conflict. Okay.
I think the Webster Groves Art Festival is this weekend, June 7th.
Yeah, I think I avoided the Archer. I didn't write it down, but I remember looking at it. Because I didn't like to see that.
The art there.
I think that's a different.
Is that
event.
different?
Oh, that's a
Yeah, where
different
there's plein air painting
going on, like
Oh,
live painting? Is that what you're talking about?
Everything is at.
Over at the
Eden.
seminary.
Is it Eden's on Mary?
Oh,
Yeah.
is that the Webster Arts here?
Yeah, it's called the Art Mayor.
Oh,
Never
so
ended
it's-
up there.
Okay, so that sounds like an argument for May 31 from Tim. Um. Totally makes sense to me. Anybody have any other? Either proposals or challenges with that 31 day? And maybe we should pick a backup just in case like the police are doing some big training that day and all of a sudden we can't get it.
Or another storm.
We should brand ourselves out as rainmakers.
Well, I mean, if you need if you need another backup, I mean, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with June 21st, but if you just have to pick a. if
Yeah,
you're
why don't
trying
we
to
June
rank-
21 is
Yeah.
that? Just to have something, but we'll prioritize May 31 if there's another problem.
Perfect. Yeah.
Anything else on any of this? We'll go to the next item on new business. Webster on Wheels is May 3rd. And I'm not sure whether we need more helpers on that. Anybody?
I think we have quite a few. Mary, do you?
I could share an update. We went to
Yeah.
the Dave Bucks organizing meeting
Oh,
on
great.
April 23rd. And I shared an email update with the folks who I thought had raised a hand. Anna, Tim, Amna, and I think Jeff, you're on the email too. So the event is on May 3rd. We have 4 volunteers, I think officially. Please let me know if you cannot do this. Tim, I think you're in. Anna, I think you're in. Amna, I think. Okay, yeah, good. And me.
I would just stipulate, I'm happy to help. I have a pretty bad ankle, so something that doesn't involve walking would be good.
Okay.
Anything, as long as I don't have to like walk a couple of blocks, I'm good.
On Mary?
Like.
I told Dave
Huh?
I would be willing to step out the
could
snack
ride a
table
bike.
across from Webster High. Just like a little.
Yeah, so perfect. So what we do basically, he's asked us as sponsors to set up be at Bristol in the morning around noon. All the tables and chairs are provided by Bristol. We set up a table as part of the kickoff event, and typically as a kind of co-sponsor, someone from our commission would just say, welcome, have fun, kind of kick off the event. Then there's a group that would also staff the snack stop, the midway point that John was just referencing.
Went across from Webster.
You grab some tables and chairs from Bristol, schlep them over to Webster High, have water and bananas and cookies and stuff like that. John, I'll loop you in on that email, and we'll figure out between us who will staff the kickoff and who will staff the midway point. The next meeting that Dave is holding is on May 23rd, which is next Wednesday at Llewellyn's at 7. So if Anna or Tim or John,
Which is
I'll be there.
in 2 days.
It's this
April
one.
20th. It's this Wednesday.
It's this Wednesday. What did I say next?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
life is
that's how you
so
interpret
full.
this. Yeah.
So we're gonna have another touch point over a beer if people want it at Llewellyn's on Wednesday at 7. We have Jeff has approved some budget to buy snacks. We also typically at that kickoff table, I guess, have had giveaways. In the past, we had green bags, which we don't have anymore. In the past, there was some big wheel. Anyway,
Yeah.
so things we've used in the past to sort of create a happy atmosphere are not available to us. So if anyone has ideas on giveaways, I think we could give these away and talk to people about the maps and let people fill their water bottles. I think that's a great giveaway. But if folks have other ideas, we are the Sustainability Commission, so it should be something that you don't just pitch, right? Either you consume it or use it. And so I think is that enough of an update for folks? So the 4 people who are on as volunteers, thanks for letting me know you're busy. I guess we could pick who wants to do which station you want to be at. You want to be at the halfway point?
I could be, I'm agnostic though, I'll go where I'm.
You'll do
needed.
whatever. Okay,
And I'll do it.
No, that,
okay.
and I am out of town for that 23rd planning meeting,
Okay,
but like I said, just tell me my job.
okay.
Now, as the new chair, would you like to be the one to make a small speech?
A
Get
long
off the-
speech. More than 2 hours. Go Fidel Castro on everybody.
That's what I'm trying to do, Cory Booker.
Karen, did you have some thoughts?
I just had a side thought. Are the green bags really gone?
I know.
They are.
A
Apparently.
little box
We
right
can't-
here, maybe 10 of them left or so.
Oh,
8.
wow. So what happened to the box that they were in? Do we know?
I have that.
Okay, that's mine. So
Okay.
I'm happy to, wow, that's really cool. They're all gone. That's amazing.
We gave some to Mr. Hayes, the Hickson sustainability teacher. He reached out and asked if we had any. And so I asked Jeff, and so that's where some of the last ones went.
That's awesome. All right, thanks.
That's all I have, John.
Super. Okay, responsible lighting is the next item in full business. Yeah, I'm not sure. Do we have somebody hearing that ball at this point?
Well, it was Matt and I and Karen reviewed.
Yeah, I can summarize unless Karen wants to, but we created some email offline between ourselves and Green Space Commission. I think the gist of it is we're recommending to the commission that we sign on to the letter that Green Space has initiated to council to propose the language that they went through last month.
They being the council. went through it?
The Green Space Commission had proposed language that they had drafted with the Dark Skies.
Oh, great.
They had there was a full section that gets added to the code of ordinances and then a few revisions thereafter for some of the existing ones. We looked through it, we exchanged opinions. I think Karen's, if I say something you don't agree with, but I think where we got to is we both agreed that we should just sign on as that recommendation, or as another party to that recommendation as written. Which I think would require a commission vote to do that. Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion to have a vote on supporting this measure?
I will move that the commission sign on to the policy recommendation presented by Green Space Advisory Commission regarding the responsible lighting ordinance.
So we've got a motion, do we have a second? Got a second from Matt. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. I say.
Missouri legislature passes a law against that.
Right.
Yeah.
You better hurry up.
We gotta, get it in.
Okay, great. I think that's exciting because the guy when he spoke with us, wasn't the city like the biggest scofflaw in terms of the lighting at the rec center was sort of like the worst example we looked at.
Yeah, that was the worst example.
So that's great.
But
'cause-
I think there's probably a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure there's many other bad actors out there,
Yeah.
but that's something good where the city can do it itself rather than having to persuade or.
That is a relative term, of course, because I'm sure most people aren't even aware. You know, they put lights all over their yard because they think it's safe, they think it looks good, they're not even thinking about it. I mean, I only over the last few years only haven't become aware of this,
Yeah,
you know? So I think we shouldn't be saying bad actors,
yeah,
maybe naive.
yeah.
But-
Did the best they could at the time with the information they had.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and do we even does anybody have a sense of what that timeline looks like in terms of when it gets to the city council?
I have, and that, we might get to be able to ask her that.
Yeah, I think
I'm not aware of any timeline.
the implication was that it would get sent to staff for review and consideration for on the order of a few months before it would get
Ah.
in front of council. At least that was what I took away from the session.
Councilmember Bless, do you know anything about responsible lighting that the green space submitted to council, the language around the responsible lighting ordinance?
Don't know anything about that, but I know the mayor is talking to other municipalities about making it more regional, or regional within our St. Louis little body. So, yeah. Nothing, or are you talking about the code updates?
This
Light.
is the green space, the language green space
Dark
recommended,
skies?
dark, right, the-
Okay, yeah, like I said, right now, mayor's talking to other mayors about it.
I don't think Green Space has formally submitted that policy recommendation yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Uh,
No, I think he
uh,
said he was asking us if we wanted to sign on to it before he submitted it.
But I know they were eager to.
Okay, I,
Council
Well, we know why.
And Mayor Arnold suggested a series of steps that included going ahead and submitting it and then discussing with our commission for support.
You're right.
we could add our signature later,
Right.
so I thought it had gone
Okay,
to the staff section of the.
I'll ask
process.
Yvonne. I'll see where that is. Yvonne.
And people may remember this from a previous meeting, but Brentwood, Clayton and Ellisville have already adopted these lower limits. And this is a January 2025 article where Kirkwood was considering it. It's maybe acted by now, I don't know.
It is active now. Kirkwoods are in place.
So so we would be kind of surrounded by other municipalities that have taken the same step. Okay, super. Anything else on old business? New business? Any new business to raise? Okay, and then the last item is next meeting, which would be May the 19th. Same place, same time. Anybody see any challenges with? Yeah. Okay, good. Well then, here.
Can I don't know when to ask this question. When looking at new business, I was reminded we're about to start the new fiscal year, which is part of the reason that we're having our change in leadership. Would anyone else be interested in being reminded of what we said we'd do in the new fiscal year, like what we finally presented to the commission? Because I don't remember. If our new president or would mind sharing around like what we said we do in the new fiscal, that way, when we come up with new business, we can be aligned with whatever we said we do.
Yeah, that report is.
And I apologize.
That report is out there if you guys ever wanna, it's usually posted to the Sustainability Commission page of the website.
Is it? So I'm happy.
I don't know if it's up there yet, but every year, I believe that gets put on the Sustainability Commission.
Okay, then I can look it up myself. I didn't need to.
Can you distribute the report?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe if you could just send it around
Yeah.
right now.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
the 24 annual report, which was last year, is on there, but I'll send around again the more recent report that we discussed here at the meeting.
Thank you.
And then I could also share, I'm not sure if everyone, Tim, I don't remember if you received it when you started, if you received a link to the Forever Webster Sustainability Plan. But if you did, okay, my apologies. But that, I think somewhere it says that, maybe it's in the plan itself actually, that the commission should take a look at that every year to review. So that could tie in. I'll send that link out.
That's also on the sustainability webpage, the link to that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's up, it is, it's live and out there. So you're right.
There's a hand.
Oh, Karen.
Yeah, I realized that y'all didn't know, our speaker for the April, Eco Ed didn't show. And so we had a room full of people waiting and he didn't show. So it has been rescheduled. He said, "Oops, I'm sorry, I forgot."
Oh, no.
It's been rescheduled for July 2nd. We did not have an Eco Ed on for July, but now we do. So our remaining Eco Eds are May 7th is the Arbor Day. June 4th is the recycling. July 2nd now will be the native plants with Scott Woodbury.
Oh,
And,
Scott.
and then September is Green Space. They're doing one, and October 1st is our Dark Skies.
Do you email that around, Karen? I didn't catch that all.
Sure.
Boy, and Scott is the best. He's the smartest native plant guy around. So July 2nd.
Someone, make sure some.
2.
Oh, sorry.
And Karen, what time does Eco Ed start? Is that 6:30 or 7?
We open the doors at 6:30 for mingling and the program starts at 7.
Okay, super. Any other new business? So our next meeting is May 19th. At 4 o'clock, so I look forward to seeing everybody there. Anything else before we adjourn?
I'd like to say thank you to Jeff for his many years of service and sharing your experience and expertise. You are always around, which is good. You know, presence is important, so we really appreciate.
Well, it's been my
We're gonna
pleasure.
miss you.
It's been great being part of this.
Yeah,
And yeah, maybe I'll just come.
we've
watch.
done some cool stuff.
You'll
We've
be
got some
against the
cool
wall.
things,
Yeah,
you know?
You'll be first on the agenda.
yeah, try a visitor come. It's not gonna be the new day.
Yeah.
And if you can't wait for more Jeff Tomich, you should read his email from Canary Media on Midwest energy issues. Just comes out Monday through Friday.
They republish some of our stuff, but. Yeah, you gotta subscribe.
I didn't know you were posted on that.
So I don't post on, they republish some of the stories I write for my publication.
What is your publication?
It's called E&E, Energy and
E&E,
Environment
okay.
News, and we're owned by Politico. So,
Wow.
Yeah, go to E&E
I
News.
yeah,
It's like
I get
my
the
baby.
Canary newsletter,
yeah,
but I don't have the time to scrutinize it
yeah.
every day. I will.
It's, yeah.
Oh, so there's got a lot of good stuff in it. It's just.
Yeah.
Time doesn't always, but
I know, tell me
I
about
have to
it.
make time.
Okay, well, anything else before we adjourn? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Well, we
reading that.
we
I'm reading that
actually
instead of
have to make a
scientific
motion.
Oh, okay, we have a motion on the floor to adjourn.
Second.
Second,
Gotta get my name in the minutes when we're doing it.
any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, we're adjourned.